Yo, what's up guys? We're here to check out some new Yu-Gi-Oh cards. First one is going to actually be for machines, but mostly for, of course, the Infinite Ignitions, but can be used in a lot of different things. So, this is Spin Turn, which is a normal trap card that actually has two different effects. So anyways, the first effect is, well, you can only activate one of these effects. So the first effect is to target your attack position Earth, machine, exceed monster, and one monster your opponent controls. Change the battle position of your monster, and if you do, destroy that opponent's monster. The other effect is you get to target one of your defense position Earth, machine, exceed monsters, and one spell, / trap, your opponent controls. Change the battle position of your monster, and if you do, destroy that opponent's card. Hey, that's pretty good. You get to pop spells, or even a monster. I'm more than likely going to assume that most people are going to be wanting it for the first effect. Really wish it had some other graveyard interaction, because at the end of the day, I think most people would rather just play other, more consistent cards. But the thing is, the card isn't bad, but again, if you just get your summon negated, or whatever the case may be, it doesn't really do too much, whereas where other cards like Solemn Strike and other things just have better interaction, but still, nonetheless, not an absolutely terrible card. But we got more cards to check out, and this is where I think a lot of people are like going to be super hyped up about. They are making Endymion an archetype. I actually recently covered the ultimate boss monster Endymion. If you guys haven't checked that out, I'm gonna have it pinned down below. Definitely check that out, because this deck is not gonna be bad at all. In fact, dude, you know, pop stuff and then you get a negate, dude. It's pretty dirty. But anyways, next up, or first up, I should say, for this archetype, Empress of Endymion, light, level 7 spellcaster, pendulum effect monster. Its scale is 2, and the pendulum effect of this card is each time a spell card is activated, you get to place one spell counter on this card when that card resolves. The second effect is you get to remove 3 spell counters from this card to special summon both this card from your pendulum zone and one monster from your hand that you can place a spell counter on. And if you do, place one spell counter on each of those 2 monsters. Okay. Not a bad card. I really dislike when they put 18, 15 in attack. It makes the math too hard for me. But that's the attack and the 2,700 defense points. Sorry, I should have went over that before the effect. But monster effects over here are that you can special summon Empress of Endymion only once per turn. If this card is special summoned, you get to target one other card you control with spell counters and one card your opponent controls. Return both those targets to the hand, even if the first target no longer has any spell counters. Then place onto this card the spell counters that were on the card returned from your field to the hand. And then the second effect is, when this card with spell counters destroy a battle, you can add one Endymion card from your deck to your hand. Wow, that's actually a really, really good effect. Being able to bounce and then just be like, oh, I'm going to go ahead and add one. Any Endymion card. Really solid indeed. Next up we have the Magister of Endymion, which is a level 3 Earth, scale of 8, 1500 attack, 900 defense points, pendulum scale of 8, and its pendulum effects is each time a spell card is activated, you get to place a spell counter on this card when that card resolves. The second effect is you can remove 3 spell counters from this card to special summon both this card from your pendulum zone and one monster from your face-up extra deck that you can place a spell counter on, and if you do, place one spell counter on each of those 2 monsters. Monster effect is you can special summon Magister of Endymion only once per turn. The first effect is when this card declares an attack, you place a spell counter on itself. The second effect is once per opponent's turn, as a quick effect, you get to remove 3 spell counters from your field to special summon one monster from your deck that you can place a spell counter on. The third effect is if this card in the monster zone is destroyed, you can place this card in your pendulum zone, then place spell counters on this card equal to the number of spell counters that were on it. Okay. Interesting stuff indeed. Alright, next up we have the Serpent of Endymion, which is a level 3 wind with 900 attack, 1500 defense points, a pendulum scale of 2, and its pendulum effect is each time a spell card is activated, you get to place one spell counter on this card when that card resolves. The second effect is you can remove 3 spell counters from this card to special summon both this card from your pendulum zone and another monster from your deck with 1,000 or more attack that you can place a spell counter on. Which is just some Endymion boss monster. That's ridiculous. Alright. And if you do place one spell counter on each of those 2 monsters, dude, there's so much spell counter stuff. This is crazy. Alright, anyways, the monster effect is you can special summon Serpent of Endymion only once per turn. The first effect is it can attack directly while it has spell counters on it. The second effect is once per opponent's turn, as a quick effect, you can discard a card, place one spell counter on this card, and all other cards you control that you can place a spell counter on. Ooh. That's pretty dirty. I mean, there could be a lot of crazy plays with this. The third effect, though, is if this card in a monster zone is destroyed, you can place this card in your pendulum zone, then place spell counters on this card equal to the spell counters that were on it. Okay. I mean, I think that first, well, I mean, each time you get to place the counters, but just removing from 3 to special summon both this card and another monster from the deck with 1,000 or more attack. I mean, there are so many things that you can go for. Again, it's probably going to be the boss monster, which then lets you just pop everything and then go set it for negate. Like I said, guys, definitely watch that video. It just showcased off the boss monster, and there's a lot more support, obviously. It's going to be really good stuff indeed. Alright, anyways, next up we have the Spell Power Control, which is a normal spell card that says you can only activate 1 card with this card's name per turn. First effect is to add 1 Endymion card from your deck to your hand, then place as many spell counters as possible on cards that you control that you can place the spell counters on, but not more spell counters than the total number of spell power graphs and spell power controls in your field and in your graveyard. Okay, so it's what is it called? It was like Power Grasp or something. There's a card where you just activate it and you search out another one, and then you it's like you only activate 1 per turn. Slow in a sense because you can only activate 1 of them. Otherwise, you'd be just activate. It's like upstart all over again. But still, I mean, just any Endymion card. That's insane, dude. You just go for the other card, just special summon the boss in the deck, then pop everything. All right. Anyways, next up, Endymion Lab. Continuous spell card that says you can only activate 1 card with this card's name per turn. Got 3 different effects, man. Alright, this card is named because Magical Citadel of Endymion while it's in the spell and trap zone. The second effect is each time a spell card is activated, you're going to place a spell counter on this card when that card resolves. The third effect is once per turn, if a spellcaster monster you control is destroyed by battle, after damage calculation, you remove 6 spell counters from your field, special from 1 level 7 or higher spellcaster monster from your hand or deck. Oh my gosh, this is not even just just for the archetype. That's any spellcaster. Dude, you summon that Dark Magician, no monsters left on the field, man. It's going to be good quality stuff. Anyways, next up we have the Guidance of Spell Salvation. It's a normal spell card that says you only activate 1 card with this card's name per turn. Turn 1 spellcaster, affect monster in your graveyard, add that monster to your hand. This is obviously more stuff for the pendulum support, but not a bad card at all. Because if I remember correctly, isn't Valor? I mean, this is kind of irrelevant, but because most people don't really play Valors too much anymore. I believe Spellcaster. Yeah, it is a Spellcaster. Well, that's kind of cool. You're able to add that back. And it is just more so another spell card that would technically work in that deck because, again, since more than likely you're going to be playing pendulums, they might not hit the graveyard, but Valor could be definitely a good option because not only is this a spell so you can put counters on the other stuff because you're activating spells, but it gives you that extra Valor for you to negate an additional time because the boss monster already negates in the deck. And then apparently we're getting some new sleeves on Mark 9th, but that's OCG. We'll probably get these in the TCG 2 years later when the deck is irrelevant. But anyways, hopefully you guys enjoyed seeing the new cards. Let me know what you think of the new spellcasters. Are they OP? Are they broken? I think they're very strong, but the only thing that's more annoying than anything, if you play against someone in real life, they're like, okay, I'll put a counter on this, I'll put a counter on this, and it's just like, oh my gosh. I mean, every single Yu-Gi-Oh effect gotta have several different things to do. It's crazy, man. But anyways, let me know your thoughts down below on any of the cards that we talked about. But thanks for watching, guys, and if these are out, and you guys got replays, if you want to send them in, feel free to send them to AzneyesReplays@gmail.com. I'll give you a shout out, be featured on the channel. And if you guys are new to the channel, I want to see that stuff when I finally upload it. Be sure to hit that subscribe button, you'll be notified when I do. But anyways, thanks for watching, guys. Have a good one, and I'm signing out.